Hello, I'm Jenny Parker, and this is my video for Category 30, the Video Award. And I'll begin with the interview questions. Number 1, how long have you been a member of MPS, if you are a member? I am currently a member, and I really can't say how long I've been one, not cumulatively, because I am somebody who has been a member and then lapsed and been a member again and then lapsed various times over the years. So it's not really a question I know how to answer, except to say that I've been a member off and on for a long time. And I've known members and associated with MPS members across many years and have many dear friends who are MPS members. So I feel like a veteran, whether cumulatively I can say that or not. The favorite thing about being an MPS member is, for me, being able to connect with other members, being able to hear them read their poetry or see it in print or gather with them occasionally, although it's been a long time, and there are a lot of people that I miss because my career pursuits have taken me in other directions, even abroad and far away from my dear friends and the branches that I have associated with in the past. But they are without a doubt my favorite thing about being a member of MPS, because there's nothing like being in the presence of poets, literary people in general. They tend to have great vocabularies and great wits and are just really amazing and inspiring to be around. So that's my favorite thing. Number 3, what kind of poetry do you typically write? I would say that my kind of poetry tends to be lyrical, and it's more for the page than for public performance, in my opinion. I aspire to be good enough to do slam poetry, but generally speaking, I think my poems tend to be better read than heard. But just focusing on how I would describe the kind of poetry it is, it tends to be very personal, lyric verse, or inspired by stories of people that have touched me. I do a lot of dramatic monologue or just kind of soul-searching lyric poetry. What poets or poetry inspires you? Of course, I have a lot of favorites. I loved Poe when I was a child, and so Edgar Allan Poe and William Blake. I was a big fan of the Romantics in general, so Wordsworth and Blake were important to me. I discovered Countee Cullen when I was very young, and I found the combination of his classically inspired rhythms and vocabulary and the deep feeling of his poetry just really struck a chord in me. So I'm a big Countee Cullen fan. I'm also a big fan of Edna St. Vincent Millay. She's funny to me, and I love her sense of humor as well as her sense of rhyme and rhythm. So I could probably go on and on, but I think that's enough what I like. What makes good poetry, in your opinion? Well, I'm a librarian, so I would say that good poetry is a very broad category, because every reader kind of has a different sort of keyhole in their heart, and there are many different keys that can fit that. What makes it good is if it connects with someone, if it expresses something um, personal enough or universal enough to make someone say, yes, that's it, that's exactly how it feels, or what that feels like. And I've been privileged to get some feedback from time to time from people that's told me that some of the things that I've written have struck them that way. And to me, that's affirmation that what I felt when I wrote it was sending me a true signal that yes, this one works, because it spoke to someone. So good poetry is poetry that speaks to someone and expresses something that makes a connection in other people. Now, I have personal likes and dislikes. So, of course, for me personally, good poetry is musical. It has a kind of musicality, whether it be the rhythm or the use of poetic effects that create a sense of musicality. That's something that gets my attention in the poems that I like, as well as in the poems that I write and actually am able to bring myself to read over and over again. So yeah, that's good poetry to me. I sometimes feel as if I need to work more on imagery, particularly visual imagery, because I tend to lean heavily into vocabulary and sound. But as I said, whatever connects. And for some people, they're more visual, and some people are more thoughtful and contemplative. And then there are people who want to laugh, and so whatever floats your boat. There's poetry for you. Number 6, talk about any of your books, awards, or writing projects you'd like to mention here. Well, I haven't won any awards in a long time, and so anything that I could mention there is such ancient history that it would have dust on it. So let's leave that in the dusty corner where it lies. The only book I guess I would want to mention is my personal, my self-published collection. It's called A Close Circle of Strangers, and I wrote it while I was overseas in China, and it was a collection of a lot of poems that I have shared over the years with other people, and the project meant a lot to me. It was something I said, I need to get this out of my system. And kind of, put it aside so that I can focus on new work and not look back. And so I did that, but I haven't promoted it very much because, well, for one thing, I found mistakes after long after I'd approved the proof, and I have put it on the back burner for years to do a second edition and correct all my mistakes before I, put any push behind that particular book. But it still means a lot to me because it contains so many of my most personal poems, and many of them were poems that I wrote for someone or for an occasion, and shared with someone who made me feel as if the poem helped to bridge the distance between us and kind of memorialize our connection. Anyway, that is probably more than enough of me talking about all that stuff. And I guess I should get on with the business of reading my newest poem, which is an acrostic. I'll mention that, even though it's a kind of thing that I don't like to, I don't put it in the title when I write an acrostic, or, leave any hints, because I always imagine some future reader someday finding something of interest about the poem and reading through it, and then suddenly discovering, hey, it's an acrostic. And I don't want to spoil that for them, but sorry, I'm going to spoil it for you guys and say this is an acrostic, but it shouldn't be too obvious. I try to be subtle about that sort of thing. The name of this poem is While You Wait, in Praise of Novel Gazing. In many times of vacant solitude, novel friends become my company. Each could either help me lift my mood, else change my mind, perhaps providing me distraction, challenge, tasty mental food, to try to see if I preferred the sweet or savory or salty, even bitter stuff that other tasters spewed, rejecting it for something palate cleansing. But for me, easy to digest and safe for work and by the lurid unimbued are not required elements. Originality is key, to be desired, even if crude. Divert my sometimes shallow stream of consciousness and free my stalled imagination from a stagnant attitude, or worse, from narcissistic navel-gazing ennui. Remind me about other minds and paths left unpursued. Expose me to a universe of possibility. Bemuse me with what speculative thinkers can extrude out of their own experience of life's brutality or beauty. Anytime you find me long delayed or queued, kept waiting somewhere, hopefully I'll have a book with me. So standing or sat down, I know my sanctum can be found and well endued.